it's Kelly at Mindful Art Center, and I wanted to do a little demonstration about the daily visual journal. So, if you have read about it a little bit, you know that I use small pieces of paper that are about 4 by 6 inches, and this is a piece of tag board that generally comes like 18 by 24, and then I cut them down to size, and I usually will cover them with gesso. Not usually. There's a few different ways I'll cover them, either with acrylic paint. Sometimes I won't cover them at all and just use them as they are. Sometimes I'll also cover them with paper. But right now I'm just going to demonstrate using the gesso, and I just use some water to water it down and make it a little bit smoother. And if you can, I'm not sure if you can see the texture that it's getting. You can see the lines of the brush strokes, which is something I like. You know, not everybody likes that. You may want it to be a lot smoother, in which case you could water down your paint a little bit so that it's a bit smoother. You could try a different type of paint. Gesso is intended to be a little bit thicker, since it's the material that you would use to cover canvas before painting, so it would seal your canvas. So the reason I use it is to seal the paper so that when I paint on it or add anything on it, mostly when I paint on it, it's not going to destroy the paper underneath. So super simple. That is all I do with that. Can you see textures perhaps a little bit? Some of the brush strokes in there. And then I'll show you a finished piece. I have these Daily Visual Journal supply kits. This one mostly has materials for collage, and when we get started with the online course, these are some materials that would be available. And it's filled with magazine images, an old dictionary page, some old clip art from a super old clip art book, music sheets. So a lot of these are pieces that they come from books that I found, books that have been recycled, ones that were thrown out from the library. So I'll collect those, and if they're something interesting that I can use, I'll use the pictures and take those out, or just use the pages. And here I've got a little playing card, a little sticker, some shapes, some paper cut shapes, like there's circles, there's hearts, there's different shapes in there. Colorful paper, brown paper, just a lot of papers, a lot of different things to inspire you and get you started with your daily visual journal. Some of them, and each of these kits would come with several of these, so if you wanted enough for a month, like I would have a kit available with enough cards of different types. Like this is Bristol board, this is the tag board with gesso on it. There's some watercolor paper and some smaller index cards, and also the plain tag board. So all of those things would be available if you don't want to, or if you don't have your supplies and you want to build up a little collection, then you could do that. So once I have this, once the paint is dry, then I'd be able to work on it. And I'm going to start with some doodling. And I haven't used these pencils in a while, so just a plain ebony pencil. And something I like about this, if you can see the textures on it, it shows the brush strokes and it has shapes in there. So a lot of times what I'll do, or one of the techniques I'll do, is just to follow along with some of the brush strokes and highlighting them. And with this pencil, you can do a gently shading on top, and it still shows the brush strokes and the texture, which I really like. how there are elements in here and designs and textures that I wasn't aware of. So there's like this hidden beauty in the texture of the paper, which of course made me think of ourselves, and if there's hidden beauty in ourselves and things that we don't notice at first, whether it's in ourselves or in other people. Maybe you don't notice it at first, yet it's there, and if you look hard enough or you just approach it with a different perspective, you'll find that beauty, and you'll find those hidden gems that you weren't aware of, and those hidden ideas or talents or special gifts that you have that you weren't aware of at first. So as I think about that, that is what I'm going to write on the back. I'm going to put the date on here and write those thoughts that I just shared with you about how, as I'm working on the artwork, those are the ideas that come to mind, and why I feel that this process is so powerful, because you can use it as like a meditative process, and as you're looking at the artwork and as you are creating it, the process of actually creating it can bring up a lot of ideas and thoughts and gives you the space to work through it and give your and then put your thoughts on the back of it, so that when you look at it later, you can remember that that's what you were feeling at the time. So that's my process, and I would love to see what you guys are working on, and if you're trying some of the sample some of the ideas from the sample book of Daily Visual Journal. And of course, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can comment on this video or send me an email, find me on Facebook or whatever. Anyway, that's it for today, and I will see you later. Bye.